So welcome back to my messy accordion workbench. Trying to make it maybe a little not so messy. Thought I would do just a little video on some of the tools that I'm using, some of the things that are helping me to start some of these projects. I find that it's hard to find some of this information out there, so I'm just going to share what I'm using so far and how it's working for me. So I am in the middle of this restoration here, and I'm working on putting some fabric here on these bellows that are pretty old. And so I've got some great big clamps and just kind of a stick of wood inside, and that's what I'm using to kind of expand the bellows. I'm going to find something better than that, I think, but for now it's just a couple clamps and a piece of wood holding open those bellows. I'll see what I can come up with in the future, see if I can do something better than that. Then got some of this. I saw this in another video. Somebody was using some of this cross-stitch cloth here for grill cloth, and I thought it actually looked kind of sharp, and so I did get some of that. Was thinking of using that. I've got some wax paper here just to keep anything that I don't want sticking together not sticking together. And speaking of sticky, I've got a bunch of different glues here. So I've got just regular glue sticks for a hot glue gun. I'm going to use those when I reattach my pallets to the mechanisms. Then I've got some Titebond. Titebond 2 here. I'm using that for a lot of different gluing things. It seems it does really seem to have a fast set time, which is something that's working well for me because I don't want things to sit there. So it's got some good tackiness, and then it sets pretty well. Water resistance probably the most that I need at this point. And I don't know, just everything I glue with this seems to be working really well. I do have just some regular school glue, but that's not going to get me by, right? And so I got some of this just for doing the fabric and paper on the bellows, that kind of stuff, just a whole bunch of that. Just some old wood glue I had left over. And then found this in some of the forums. This is Indian head gasket shellac, and so from what I understand, they use the shellac, which can be a lightweight glue, and is natural. They use that to hold the leathers to the reeds, and so I'm going to try using that, and I'll get back to you on how that works. The all-important X-Acto knife and a whole bunch of extra blades. I use that for just a ton of things. Got a great ruler here. I don't know, it seems silly, right? But I like this ruler because it has this nice sharp edge here, so I can kind of push the paper down into the crease on the bellows, but it's also got this rubber backing, so when I put it someplace and I don't want it to move, it doesn't move. And it seems to be, just freakishly, for me, it seems to be right about the exact right width for cutting these strips, and so I was using it to kind of eyeball some of these strips to make that easier, and of course cutting those with the X-Acto knife. So I don't know, I've been really liking that ruler. I've got just a little vise here for holding things that I'm working on. Here in this tray, I got package of needle files. I found that rubber bands have been working well to kind of hold things in place, so I've got a package of rubber bands there. Did some repair of some metal parts, so I just have some JB Weld that I've been working with. I also have the putty type, but the job I did was for this. Got just some different abrasives, so just a little scrubbing thing there. Lots of pliers, screwdrivers, scissors. Got a couple of brushes, so I got brushes for glue, and then I also have like a cleaning brush, brush all the dirt and grime and junk out of things. I've got a pair of nippers here, I don't know why, but these just tend to be my favorite pair of nippers. I got these at some garage sale at one point or something, but they're just nippers, and obviously if you can see that, I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're not the best. But I use these for pulling the pins, from the bellows. Those work real well for that. Um, Got low temp glue gun in here that I use for waxing, some wrenches, some other cool things. So just a bunch of tools and mess in there. I tend to use my no-name Dremel for a lot of little things that need to be done. Um, Made a little block. I saw this in another video. Just made a little block for putting pins, bellows pins in here so that they don't get mixed up, just in case they need to keep right. Um, Got lots and lots of little clamps and things. These clamps just help to hold everything in there nice and quick and easy to use. Then, in addition, on the floor I've got like a big bag of all sorts of sandpapers and abrasives and abrasive pads and all sorts of magic eraser and just all sorts of things that can be used for cleaning and wiping things up. So just an overview of things that I've got collected here that using to help in these projects.